and welcome to another Primetime Muscle. This is a packed episode. As always, Tim Wilkins, joined by the one and only super promoter and IFBB pro head judge, Terry Kilkenny.
Thank you, Tim. Happy to be here. I missed you a lot. You're one of my favorite guys. I missed you.
Well, and we missed Chris. Chris Cormier, the real deal. Chris, let's see the shoes. We have to dress up. We travel across the country.
We did.
Styling and profiling. Look at these.
Okay.
Who makes these?
These are some red bottoms, man. You know,
Woo!
I got a little dirty from outside, but I had to walk in here. So
I didn't think you walked in those shoes. I thought people carried them for you.
a little dirt on the bottom.
The reality is we started this show so well, all of us wearing suits and ties, and our viewership was amazing. Now you look like
outside.
You work at a massage parlor on Santa Monica Boulevard, and you give 13 happy endings on one day. Horrible, horrible outfit.
Horrible.
You guys like my outfit?
Just horrible.
You guys like my outfit?
Be sure to comment on Chris's outfit. Let's get to it, though. As we edge closer to the Mr. Olympia weekend, we're reflecting back on the best Olympia of the millennia, and that is 2000s to today. And we're looking at the year 2009, guys. Chris, off camera, you said, I got a thing or two to say about that.
Oh, yeah.
What was it about 2009? First of all, who won, and what are your thoughts on this?
That was the year of the Cutler reigns coming back again, because Jay Cutler came back after a defeat in 08 by the Blade, Dexter Jackson. So, I mean, he beat him fair and square. It was a great victory. I wish I could have been up there to actually capture it myself, but other things happened with me. But it's not about me. It's about them. So Jay, when he lost, I mean, his whole world just came coming down. I know him as a Leo. I know he's not about defeat like that. And Dexter came back the next year, but leading up to the show, Jay was beating the drum like, I'm the people's champ. I'm the sports ambassador. You know, he wasn't really saying by name to Dexter, but he was saying, I'm the guy. I'm the sports ambassador. I am the people's champion. I'm this and that. So by the time the show came around, you know, because they cheered a lot when Dexter won. Don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah.
Don't get it twisted. They cheered a lot. They wanted new blood or something, but the crowd went crazy when Dexter won. By the time the show came around again, it was not too many claps going on for Dexter, and I was in the audience, and I was sitting next to his family. You know, I gave some claps. I know I'm both. So I gave some. You know, I'm trying to cheer Dexter on. But I'm noticing no one else in the audience is really clapping. And it was all the energy was on Jay Cutler. So it was an amazing campaign to come and get his title back, and it worked. I mean, he put in the work also, obviously, and he just retained his title, and it was just amazing the way, just to watch the whole thing and to be so closely involved with knowing both of the competitors. It was pretty amazing how he came back and got his title back.
I didn't think there was much more to improve on for Jay. The year he came back going after Ronnie, I think I was backstage, and Joe Weider was walking around with the camera crew, and he was talking to everybody. He was interviewing Jay and Ronnie, and he said, Jay, how much size did you put on from last year? He said, I don't know, Joe, 25, 30 pounds. And Joe's eyes came out of his head. He said, that's insane, I'm leaving. And he walked away. And then here we are 7 years later. 7 years later, what'd you think of that Mr. Olympia?
So the reason I like 2009 as one of the greatest Mr. Olympias of all times is obviously Jay Cutler is the first Mr. Olympia to regain his title, right? And the only Mr. Olympia to regain his title. But there's background to the story, which is a magazine, Flex magazine, right before the Mr. Olympia, published a cover where they had half of the body of Phil Heath and half of the body of Dexter Jackson. And on the corner, right corner, a small picture of Jay Cutler. I know Jay personally. He did not like this. He did not appreciate this. He felt he was disrespected. And Jay will put a good face on and smile at everybody, but he was livid. He was pissed. He didn't like that. He thought it was disrespectful because even though he had lost his Olympia title, he placed second. It's not like he placed third or fourth. And the cover had half of the body, Phil Heath, and half Dexter Jackson. He was from Las Vegas. And if his physique was not phenomenal, people wouldn't have been with him. But he was at his all-time best. And people embraced the fact that he was disrespected. That cover, I remember because I talked to some people, and it wasn't just me. People were like, dude, this is a bit disrespectful putting Jay on the corner. And Jay Cutler...
Nobody puts Jay on the corner.
Exactly. And Jay Cutler...
He ain't working no corners. He ain't working no corners.
He didn't make an announcement about it, but a lot of people, insiders in the industry, we also thought that the assumption that the battle was going to be between Phil and Dexter only was a little bit too much. Jay was, the second place, and he had won 2 Olympias. He came back to storm. And I think that the crowd in Vegas, when they saw Jay at his all-time best, and they also, some of the guys that were close to him in Vegas, his hometown, they felt like he was disrespected. They embraced him.
Well, guys, who else was on that lineup? Because you talk about Phil, and that was just before his dynasty started. And we love our dynasties. We love the champion. We love, like this time, it's Big Ramy, and everybody's behind the champion, but everybody loves that underdog story and that guy coming back. Who else was in that lineup that was fighting for that title?
You got to think back.
Just come back to me right here. Forget about Chris on those moments. All the drugs come to his brain. He doesn't remember. Okay. Jay Cutler won. Jay Cutler won the title. Okay. In second place was his all-time best, Branch Warren. In third place was Dexter Jackson, green trunks. It was probably Dexter's best look, according to him. He says, Tarek, 2008, when I won the Olympia, was not my best. It was 2009, my best. When I lost my title, that was my best. Branch Warren second, best conditioning of his life. In fourth place, Kai Green.
Wow.
In fifth place, Phil Heath, who got sick a few days prior and looked heavily deflated because I think he was throwing up. But that was the top 5. Don't ever go to Chris Cormier for those information. Just the facts here. Put the camera on me. When it comes to the history of bodybuilding, do not go to Chris Cormier. Okay? He was at the massage parlor when the show was over. Okay?
Your blood pressure medicine, I think, is over there. You go get a couple of those
Keep
pills.
that close, guys. Keep that close.
So that was an amazing lineup. And, we have to give respect. Anybody up there, top 5, top 10, you're Olympians. But you look at somebody's reign like the next 13 years for Dexter. To have that title even once of Mr. Olympia, but to be going into your 50s and to maintain, we talk about the degradation of quality muscle over the years, and you can't keep it. It doesn't have that same quality. You look at him, you look at a Kamal El-Garni, these guys are invincible. And that year to say that was my best, 2009, is saying something for a guy that had that kind of run.
Yeah, I helped him on some of his compulsory poses that year also. He didn't win, but I mean, he looked amazing. And just to go, into his later years and competing and beating guys 20, 25 years younger than Dexter, then, I mean, to me, he's the greatest bodybuilder of all time.
Arnold Classic after Arnold Classic.
All those, yeah. No one's won all those shows that many times. He beat me in 2005. So
never forgave him.
That's saying something.
Never forgave him.
That's saying something, because I was no joke. But yeah, he was, I think, between him and Jay, like those 2 guys, I competed closely with them, but So it might be a little favoritism with those guys, but I mean, they just, and still to this day, still amazing guys.
I don't know if encyclopedia is a good reference for you, but let's go to the Google of this desk. So was that 6 or 7 for Jay? What Olympia was that when he made that comeback?
Jay Cutler, his first Mr. Olympia was 1999.
99, yeah.
That was his first Mr. Olympia. So 99, 2000, 2001, which that was an amazing look, blue trunks. 2002, 2003, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that was his 11th Mr. Olympia. One thing that people don't take in competing.
I was going to say.
Now, and that was his 3rd title. And then he won once more, and then Phil Heath took the.
Didn't he take off 2000 though? He wasn't in, I don't think he was in.
I think he took off.
He took off, yeah, you're right. So 10th. You corrected me again. We need to edit that. He cannot correct me 2 times in a row, Nico.
Mr. Google.
Edit that right now.
Google.
That was good.
Chubby short,
good.
I gotta
chubby
say,
short finger.
He took it off in 2000. That's good, Chris. I'm impressed.
As you're jogging your memory up here, trying to think through the encyclopedia of bodybuilding, Chris is picturing who's on his right and who's on his left for a compulsory going, no, he wasn't there. That guy wasn't there. I'm looking to the left. That guy wasn't there.
No,
we're good.
No.
Well, we've got lots more to talk about. Again, as the rivalries continue and people go after each other. This year at the Olympia, there are a lot of people who would like to take home not only the Sandow Trophy, but a piece of each other. And we'll be talking about that when we come back. We're back and we're talking about the rivalries that are making the sport so rich right now. And guys, we're going to start off with Andrew Jacked and Martin Fitzwater.
Those guys have issues, Tim. They have issues. I like both of them, okay? Andrew Jacked is a phenomenal competitor, and Martin is phenomenal as well. People are forgetting that Martin Fitzwater was in Texas and displayed a phenomenal physique, especially from the back. This guy is the real deal. Now, they went to the UK, they competed there, and Martin came in 4th. And then he made a comment about Andrew Jacked, and everybody went crazy in the internet. The bottom line is, they don't like each other. They have issues. They're going to compete against each other for many years. What people are forgetting is that this guy, Martin, is actually a really good bodybuilder, and he's going to be good for many years to come. I had a chance to talk to him, and he said, Tarek, I'm coming back in 2024. So when it's all said and done, this guy's going to come back, and he's going to be a threat, and he's going to challenge Andrew Jacked, just like he did in Texas. I think he's really good.
Now, Chris, some of the messages, some of the stuff going back and forth between these guys was not wrestling quality rivalry. Oh, brother, let me tell you, it was good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the thing is where you make mistakes at sometimes, you can light a fire under a bodybuilder's butt just verbally, and that's all that bodybuilder needs. I used to like it. I used to want to have confrontation because I'm going to drag that into my competition.
You were an arsonist.
Oh, yeah.
You set a lot of fires in your day.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I remember, one thing back in the day when Dennis James had said that I didn't look as I should have. He should have beat me. I didn't have striated glutes. And I said, well, the thing is, Dennis, I'm a Ferrari and you're a Pinto. I said, you can have the paint shining, nice chrome rims, but at the end of the day, it's still a Pinto. And I said, me, I'm a Ferrari. I said, I could have a scratch on my shit, but people know at the end of the day, I'm still a Ferrari.
Man, you guys still friends after that? I would have socked you on your face if you said that to me. You called
We
me
get
a
along.
Pinto?
He brings it up all the
I would
time.
have socked you on your face if you said that to me.
He brings it up all the time on a Menace podcast. So.
Speaking of socking in the face, so Martin Fitzwater called Andrew Jacks a box of melted chocolate.
No, but he said he's gonna bitch out. But when you use the word
Bitch.
Yeah. Can we say that?
We just did.
When you say that word,
You have problems
with a man and a man behind it,
I really hope
then you can't.
You caught that on camera.
I don't know. I don't know the rules. So you tell me the rules.
Well, that was subtle too.
I didn't know the rules.
Can we say bitch? Can we say
That
bitch?
was ridiculous.
So, okay. So, but when you say that word, and you use it to another man,
Yeah.
you're gonna take some offense to that. Shut up. You're gonna take some offense to that, right? So, no B words with the man, and then like you say, the melted chocolate. That's a little dicey.
Well, if you say it to a normal man, you're pushing your luck. You say it to a man whose testosterone score is like 5 digits.
Not to Andrew Jack, not to some
man.
that
You know what?
undefeated bodybuilder. He's an undefeated bodybuilder. So
Well, let's look at him because of the two guys,
know. I don't
offense,
know.
Martin Fitzwater looks amazing in these pictures,
Let's
but
check
he's
it
not
out.
Olympia qualified, which shocks me. Look how good he looks. Tarek?
Tim, this guy is a really, really good bodybuilder. People are focusing on Andrew Jack because he is great. But taking consideration that when he went to the UK, he dominated. The only guy that really challenged Andrew Jack was this guy, Martin Fitzwater. He has a little bit of an argument to say, hey, I can talk about Andrew Jack because I challenged him in Texas. I know there's tremendous hype about this guy, but I'm also good. So
The detail in that back double bi, mid back, the density, the quality of the muscle, and then down here to the Dennis James striated hams and glutes, that's top quality. He's got a solid argument.
Tim, there's a young generation of bodybuilders, and these guys, they lift extremely heavy. They're hardcore. We're living through a young generation of hardcore bodybuilders. Martin Fitzwater is one of them. Brett Wilkins is another one. Nick Walker. These guys are lifting heavy weights. They're developing thickness in the early part of their career. I think this guy is going to be really good. He's coming back in 2024. He's mad, and he can shock the world.
Chris?
Oh yes.
Side chest.
I know these two guys. They're both phenomenal bodybuilders. Andrew is just a phenom with the weight, the size, and the length of his muscle bellies and everything. Martin, I know personally. I talked to him a lot of times. I've been, sort of around him, the last couple of years, and I know he's very hungry. I know he wants to be one of the best bodybuilders in the world. I know he has a great side chest here. I would even say as far as, he has an argument, but Andrew is just such a different animal.
You got a guy with 3 pro wins in a year in his rookie season?
He's just a different animal. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
He's doing what he can for what he is.
So, Chris is right. Andrew is a different animal, right? He's genetically a freak, and he's a monster. And people are speculating that he possibly will be on the first call out at the Mr. Olympia. This is as crazy as it sounds. And I give all the credit. The guy has won shows. But what people have to take in consideration is that this young bodybuilder by the name of Fitzwater has challenged this guy. So do not disregard this guy. This guy is really good. If Andrew Jack is not there, this guy is going to the Mr. Olympia in the beginning of his career.
Well, let's keep moving because there's one more rivalry. I was on one of your Olympia lives and with Blessing Awadabu and Iain Valliere. And you talk about two guys that have a genuine disdain for each other. That was quite the chit-chat.
Tim, I talked to them before the live, okay? And I said, hey, I want to do a live with you, Blessing, and Iain Valliere. And Iain said, well, I'll do it. This is going to be tense. You know that, right? I said, I know it. We're going to keep it cool. And then Blessing said, I want to do the live, but I want to talk to Iain Valliere, and I'm going to trash talk that guy. And then I had to send a message to George Farah and say, George, you need to help me contain this guy. And for the most part of the live, they were behaved, but I couldn't hold on to them.
Minute 22, minute 24.
They went after each other, and I had nothing to do. They're going crazy. They don't like each other. And Iain Valliere said, I'm not a punk. I'm not going to allow you to talk to me like this. And then on my phone, Nick Walker sends me a message and say, I'm getting in this live.
Jump me in. I want in.
As soon as he gets in the live, Blessing Awodibu says, welcome, Brick. I wanted to disappear from the live. I wanted to run away from that live. You're talking about 750 pounds of muscle fighting against each other. The young guys in the internet, they don't like each other. I don't know if Chris ever felt like that about some of those guys. I know you dislike Dennis James, but the internet.
I didn't dislike Dennis James.
Oh, well, you just called him Pinto.
No, because he kept bringing it up each year. I didn't say it. The first year I didn't say nothing. The second year I read it again. Okay, take out your pen. I told the guy backstage, because back then we had the writers backstage. So I said, take out your pen and write this down. And I was just off the top of the dome.
My question to you is, do you think the internet maximizes these rivalries? Because right now, guys, just type in
they could just,
their hatred.
They could be doing cardio. They could be on the toilet for all that matters. And this is like bing, 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 bing. Yeah, that would have been a nice tool back in the day.
So we're hoping, call-out-wise, that Big Steve just says, I don't know where these guys are going to end up, but I want them next to each other at some point so that Steve has an opportunity and fans have an opportunity to do what we're about to do, which is put these guys up against each other and pick them apart.
It's going to happen. These guys are going to be at the Mr. Olympia, and Big Steve is a master of the call-outs. He wants to see different comparisons. He's going to get the guy that might look the best with the guy that's in 7th place. He's going to move around. It's the Mr. Olympia. We need to see everybody. So at one point, these guys might be next to each other, and it's going to be awesome.
And then you know how all that goes, right, Chris?
Oh, yeah. Can we get a rivalry round? Let's do the first call out, and let's get that out of the way, and just call all of the rivals out.
Could you imagine?
Rivalry round.
Could you imagine a call out Blessing and Iain Valliere right now, center stage?
To the stage.
Rivalry round.
Yes. I think
you heard that? Rivalry round.
I think Blessing is going to be vocal on that stage. I think it's not only about posing for him. Once he gets on that stage, he's not only going to pose, but he's going to be vocal about the people who are next to him. And if Iain is right there, he's going to challenge him.
But the rivalry is important for the sport. It's important to get to gearing up for the show. It brings in more fans. People want to see it. But, even with the training, with the individuals training for the show, they don't want to lose to the other one. So it's just going to bring out the best in all the competitors. I love it.
I just want to add, these guys are 40 minutes apart. Okay, they're both in Florida. I had a chance to visit both of them. They're 40 minutes apart. They could meet at a supermarket and they could be on the news, okay, because they destroyed the whole market. Okay, they're 40 minutes apart. We're praying they don't meet at a supermarket.
Somewhere in Publix in Florida is going to be a rampage.
Man, call the SWAT, call everything you got.
So when these guys get next to each other, and we always show, if we can, the same show against the same show, but these are obviously different shows. Both guys, unlike Martin and Andrew, both these guys are qualified. They will be at the Olympia. So Physique to physique, side chest to side chest. What are you looking at?
I'm talking about one of the best side chests in the business right now with Iain Valliere. This is possibly his best pose. He is a mass monster. He's danced. Look at the hamstrings. He's a mass monster. And in some poses, he looks phenomenal. In this pose here, he would beat Blessing. Okay? Now, the thing is, and Chris can cover on the other end, is that Blessing has that tiny little waist. He's aesthetically pleasing, and he can expose Iain.
Yes, I think his strong points, he has way more separation than Iain. So I think if I was him, I would utilize that shape of mine. I would utilize that small waist, and then I would just take apart, I would go after all his weak points. I know he had a good side tricep before. It's a little bit damaged here and there to where it's not so much of a horseshoe. I would go after that situation. I would go after the back double. I would go after I would just show my cuts. I would show all the different striations I have that he may not have.
Well, look at this, Chris, and talking about cuts and conditioning. For a guy who's a mass monster, Iain has some crazy conditioning right there.
Yes, right here. I mean, I was, critical of his physique at different times, but he really brought it the last time. He was
pound for pound.
Canada.
Pound for pound, what's the size difference on these guys?
I think Iain Valliere is 270, and maybe Blessing is about 250.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
So
he's not small at all.
Iain is a mass monster. He is a mass monster. He can beat guys on shows, even if he's not 100%. He can outmass guys and win shows, and that's the definition for me of a mass monster. The thing is that Iain is not a block. He's not a guy that has a blocky waist. He also has a small waist. So you're talking about a huge potential here. People are talking about all these new guys coming up to the Olympia. This is a guy that has won 5 pro shows. He's on the rise, and he placed 7th last year.
This guy's upside, Blessing's upside, I think, is going to be some problems because he have a nice hourglass here. He's still working on some of his poses to perfect his physique. But I think for the most part,
that's a solid pose.
A lot of upside for this kid.
Bringing those elbows around and showing how massive those arms are, that's a nice look.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to get to see these rivalries and many more at this year's Olympia, of course, December 15th through the 18th. Beautiful Las Vegas, and we have more Primetime Muscle when we come back.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on Trifecta.
All right, final segment of Primetime Muscle today, and we're talking about the biggest mistakes that competitors make in their career. Not so much that diet mistake, posing, lifting. Guys, we're talking about the expanse of someone's time as a pro bodybuilder.
Oh man, you can count so many things. I know Jay Cutler is famous for putting his money in the right places as he was competing. Not so much with me. I was like, I don't know. It was just.
Chris can write a book about this stuff.
This is our expert. This is why we're talking to him.
He can make a documentary about this stuff.
It's called I Am the Real Deal. Talk to us about that.
No, but you got to be careful because, you just got to keep trying to set yourself up for later. And that's the thing. I know he was doing a lot of real estate investments and different investments that I didn't have any idea that he was doing. I didn't get the memo on that. I was just doing my thing, competing. I'm in different
Nobody
countries.
In the pump-up area backstage was saying, "Hey Jay, where are you putting your money?"
Yeah, right. So finance is a big issue for bodybuilders while they're competing. But for when all the glitz and glamour goes away, all the stage lights go dim, you got to be ready for after that. And also you get a line of depression. Like a lot of competitors and athletes athletes around the world go through this period of coming down off of their stage, off of the applause, and into whatever they're going to do after that. And a lot of people get lost at that point.
Well, so much of that, and I'm talking to some folks about that now, it's your identity. It's as much about the applause and the fans and the booth and the sponsors, but it's who you are. It's what you've done since you were 15, 16, 22. You finished football or wrestling,
right.
And now you're a pro bodybuilder, and you don't have that to wake up in the morning with the goal of the next contest.
Right.
You don't have that identity of people walking up to you at the gym and going, hey, what are you getting ready for, champ? So that's got to be tough.
Yeah, no, and it's less signatures, less photos, less everything, and you just got to be ready to reinvent yourself. Whatever you could parlay yourself into many things, but that's one thing you got to really. It's a really serious thing too. It's no joke to go through that. I mean, I had a long depressional state of my mindset was just I just didn't know what to do next type of thing. All I can do is go back to what I knew best, and that was helping people. Went back to school for personal training with the Pro PTA Federation. So I did that, and then I trained with Dorian Yates, so I just totally changed my whole mindset.
And I thank you for that. And as someone who's training with you and under you, I'll take that.
So all of that helped, because that totally changed my life with those workouts with Dorian, and just parlayed that into what I was doing now. And I had some satisfaction because I started making champions and making legends, obviously, with Breon Ansley and stuff like that. All that stuff helped me mentally to, get back into the swing of things. And then Prime Time Muscle came around.
Yep, back on track.
And then hopefully this Chris Cormier Classic thing with my buddy
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Super promoter. Hey, so as Chris was winding down his career, social media was ramping up. How much of a mistake, where are the pitfalls for competitors with their social media? What are they doing and not doing that they should be?
Tim, it's, like Chris said, it's complicated. It can involve depression. You got to be very solid. Because when you look at a football player and you meet him at the airport, you don't see Tom Brady at the airport throwing passes. You just see the persona walking, and you get overwhelmed like, oh, it's Tom Brady. When you look at a bodybuilder, you actually get to see that huge body. And people are so impressed by it. People ask questions all the time. Even people that have never liked sports or anything, they see a huge guy and they're fascinated by it. And as a bodybuilder, you start feeding off this image. You love that. Why not? It's you. You're a superhero walking on the streets and people are recognizing. And with that comes money, it comes fame, it comes all this. And you tend to forget that this is a very temporary thing. It's not going to last. You are not going to be a bodybuilder for the rest of your life. People are going to forget who you are, right? Your body's going to change. And you have that small period of time to make good decisions. And when I mean good decisions, I mean money decisions. Getting a sponsorship and getting that money means purchasing a home, not purchasing a car. You purchase a home so that even if things go awry in your life, you can sell the home. So not a car which is, the depreciation is huge. Do not buy those crazy watches. Be solid. Are you in a serious relationship? Maintain those relationships with the people that were there before you're famous, not the people that came after you. All this has to come into play in the life of a bodybuilder. Chris Cormier is one of my best friends in the industry. And I think Chris is somebody that can teach people more than anybody about it, because Chris himself was one of the greatest bodybuilders of all times. Jim Mannion was here and said Chris could have been possibly one of the best bodybuilders of all times, but maybe he left a little bit to the side when it was his time. And listen, I don't blame Chris, because it is a hard thing to do, but he could tell that it's very hard to make those decisions. You need help. And Chris could be helping a lot of people right now.
Well, we talk about this. One thing we talked about it, is with the advent of social media, you have so many people that could be promoting themselves and building a following to sell other products or to parlay their sponsorships. They should be doing that a little better, and they should be keeping their personal lives to an extent off of that. So if things change, the fans aren't seeing the ups and downs. And, we want to know that they're human, or do we? What part of social media, where are competitors making their mistakes with social media, Chris?
Well, the thing is, though, when you have, you flooding your whole timeline out, with your total personal life, and then all of a sudden, sometimes people disappear off of that. Then they show up, and then you see you took all these other photos down of their significant other or their whoever, but they're looking for this. I don't know. Social media is not really the realest thing you know. Some people are just making up how
fake
how
book.
they're
One of the things they call it.
How they're living and everything, but. Then all of a sudden you see him switching in another partner. Then all of a sudden that partner's gone. Then you just see this chaotic map of people's personal life. A lot of times, you just want to keep it a lot of business stuff, bringing yourself, giving people a chance to know you, but at the same time, just some things are meant for that, some things are not.
I've always said that there are more letters in business than show. And while you're getting ready for the show, you know who's taking it seriously? The promoter, the sponsors, the judges, people that have a vested interest in it. And if more competitors took that vested interest in their own business and treated themselves like the commodity online and said, this is the image I'm promoting, this is what I'm trying to further myself with, and the following I'm trying to build, and they capitalize on that from there. Like Jay Cutler, still an iconic person who, when he goes places, people have that respect for Jay, that inherent look up to Jay.
Well, Jay Cutler made really good investments, and he was able to capitalize on his image better than guys that won more Mr. Olympias than he did. What Jay Cutler realized early in his career was that being a likable character was going to take him far. He did not win as many as Ronnie Coleman, but outside of the United States, and I travel a lot, people want to see Jay Cutler at the Expos more than Ronnie Coleman, more than some of the guys that have won more than him. And the reason is because at some point in their lives, these guys came to the United States and they had that small contact with Jay Cutler, and he was a likable character. Right? And Jay worked himself to be that image. He was the guy that signed the biggest contract with Muscle Tech. And Muscle Tech had major stars, but he sold his image. He said, I'm more likable than any guy around. You can come to the shows and my line will be the biggest. And he made good investments. I mean, I don't want to share his investments here. I had a chance to talk to him, but he was very savvy with his money. He was investing in places. He was checking, hey, this is going to be a good business. I'm going to put my money here. Jay Cutler, Chris Cormier, Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, these guys are just such great knowledge for young competitors. If I'm a Chris Bumstead, if I'm a Breon Ansley, if I'm Big Ramy, I want to have dinner with these guys. I want to ask them questions. Hey, man, when you were negotiating the contract, what happened? How is this guy? Where should I put my money? Should I sell here? Should I buy here? Hey, this guy is telling me he can help me. Should I trust this guy? Go to these guys and ask them questions because they have been there.
Chris, now you are that mentor for a lot of people throughout all stages of their careers. But here's a big question I would have for you. With the way things have changed from back in the Weider days where you got the big contract to be on call on retainer for shoots, or the sponsorships back in the day when the dollars were bigger. How have those dollars changed? And if you're a young competitor, how should you not have that pie in the sky of, I'm going to get this, this, and this, and I'll be set?
Right. Yeah, so, Tim, that's a great question because, a lot of times when we had a contract, let's say we got to meet with Joe at the end of the year, and Joe was trying to give out years after year after year. So you got to do great that year. Come to Joe, say, this is what I've done over the past 12 months. What can we do in the next 12 months? It was like that type of thing. So performance was heavily scrutinized. And I think nowadays, there's a lot more nutritional companies, a lot more different companies, different avenues a lot of people took, and they're giving sponsorships, but I don't think nowadays it's the same as far as like when you say you got a year, you say you got 2 years or 3 or whatever it is, it's not written in stone you're going to get those years. They might cut you, and people are leaving. People are like, I don't want to do this no more. The company's doing the same thing. Athletes and the companies are doing the same thing. But I had like a 4-year with Muscle Tech, and they gave me those actual 4 years, and then we negotiated for more after that. So I went up to like 7 years with Joe, 7 years with Muscle Tech, and then some miscellaneous ones. Yava Labs now, at this age, to have a nutritional contract, hey, you're doing some good things.
Well, we could obviously talk about this all day, and your wealth of knowledge, and like Tarek said, young people at all stages of their career should be coming to you and guiding how they do things and don't do things.
Yeah.
But one thing we've all talked about before we wrap is no matter who you're with, whatever supplement companies you're with, you should be competing more. You should be out there with your fans. You should be on stage for the quality of your physique, for the judging, for the entire process. You should be on stage more.
Absolutely, Tim. Social media gives you an opportunity to get it, reach out to millions of people. Use that wisely. Use that. You are an actor. If you use that wisely, you can be the next Jay Cutler and monetize it after your career.
Excellent. Well, Tarek El-Guindy, as always, the guru, the mentor of mentors, Real Deal Chris Cormier. Thank you very much.
Good to see you again.
And folks, always great to see you. Like, subscribe, and more than anything, share this with your friends that love the industry, that love the sport. And we hope to see all of you at the Olympia weekend, Las Vegas, Nevada, Zappos Theater, beautiful Planet Hollywood, December 15th through the 18th. We'll see you next time on Primetime Muscle.
Like and share.